Under this microscope are your invisible business partners, converting feed into products your livestock can use to grow. They're microorganisms from the rumen of sheep and cattle. They break down feed, giving off gases, some of which can be used for growth, and others, like methane, are belched out, contributing to climate change. So what does all this hot air mean for the producer?
Eventually, agriculture in general and the meat industry included will be brought into a carbon trading system, and there will be some sort of tax or penalty associated with carbon emissions. And so it will be important for all producers to have an understanding of how much carbon they emit and how they might be able to reduce that.
Up to 15% of the feed's energy can be lost as methane, so a reduction in emissions could also mean a gain in productivity. That's why CSIRO scientists are studying rumen genomics, the genetics of rumen microorganisms, to find which microbes produce methane, the methanogens, and which produce other compounds, keeping energy in the animal.
So what we really need to achieve is a reduction in methane, or a suppression of the methanogens, while promoting those organisms that actually can utilise the hydrogen in competition with the methanogens.
But with billions of microbes to look at, how can you tell the good and bad ones apart?
We can now, using a science called metagenomics, extract all the DNA from the rumen and study every organism that's there potentially in terms of the genes that are controlling their function. So now we have the tools to actually understand the rumen at a much more fundamental level, and we hope that we can actually manipulate the rumen now more predictably than we could in the past.
With rumen genomics, we can work out who the good and bad bugs are within the rumen and start barracking for the right team. But what if we could find a team of already trained wonder bugs from a different animal? Kangaroos might hold the key. Their stomachs work in a similar way to those of production animals, yet they don't produce methane.
Basically, the two types of animals have evolved entirely separately to each other, but along parallel lines. So both have this enlarged forestomach before the normal gastric stomach, where all the plant material is kept, stored, broken down by bacteria and other microbes. The
Department of Primary Industries and Fisheries Queensland have been harvesting kangaroos, sampling their stomach contents and analysing the bugs within. They have discovered that kangaroos have practically no methanogens in their stomachs.
From the breakdown of the plant material, the important part is to remove hydrogen, which otherwise it would inhibit the fermentation from occurring and you get poorer usage of feed. And in cattle and sheep, the way of getting rid of that hydrogen is to produce methane, which is then lost to the atmosphere. But in kangaroos, they produce acetate, which then adds to the pool of energy substrate that's available to the animal.
The scientists at CSIRO and the Department of Primary Industries and Fisheries Queensland have the same goal: to change the balance of microbes within the rumen for greater efficiency, production and reduced emissions. In the future, this might be achieved with a supplement, inoculation, drench or some other means of manipulating the microbes.
It's a big win for the producer. They're going to get more profits because they're going to get a much more efficient utilisation of the feed resource. At the same time, there'll be a reduction in the amount of methane that's being generated and getting into the atmosphere.
MLA is supporting this research as a clever approach to address the issues of climate change whilst continuing to seek greater efficiency and productivity.
Now that the climate change issue is firmly in front of us, this type of approach has the potential to give us a significant gain in productivity, as well as address a major issue that the industry faces in terms of reducing its greenhouse gas emissions.